Welcome to Dub Nation, your hub for everything Utah Warriors of Major League Rugby. I am here for not an international edition of the program today, Banksy. I'm in Oregon. You're in Utah. Massive game with Rugby ATL. We got Eagles on the show from Dublin, Ireland. Are you kidding me?
Oh, what a great week of rugby. Even with the Warriors being off, showing well for the Eagles. This should be a fun show and a great week to look forward to.
It's going to be awesome. We are live on an early edition of the program at noon Mountain Time on the Utah Warriors Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube accounts, on demand on KSLSports.com, the KSL Sports app, the KSL TV app, and of course, rebroadcast Thursday nights on ESPN 700 and 960. You can subscribe to the podcast version of the program on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. If you have a comment, fire away, and we'll try and get to some of those. I do have an early one from super fan of the Warriors, Michael O'Tomorrow. I believe that's how you say it. He tried to explain it to me. I'm not able to watch the show today live at noon due to work, so my comment in advance. The Warriors and the Eagles squad are making us all proud. Hope they're getting some great hospitality in Ireland. We'll ask them in a couple of minutes. Stay with us. Looking forward to the Ireland-USA game and also to welcoming the guys back for the final game against LA. Go Warriors. That's well said.
You know, he's been here with us for every show. Good shot, Michael. That's all class, buddy.
That's awesome. Okay, we're handing out some swag. What are we giving out today?
We should have a Utah Warriors visor. There it is. Look at that beauty. Put that on your melon and come out, Dub Nation, and cheer on your Utah Warriors at our next home match. All you have to do to win it is share the show on Facebook or retweet the post of the game, the show, whatever we've got on Twitter for your chance to get hooked up with that and be ready to go against Rugby ATL. Those Josepa colors in that Warriors visor looking really good.
Indeed they do. Okay, show rundown. Loaded one. We'll recap the USA-England game. Warriors had a bye, so we'll talk about the 5 Warriors who played in this game. 4 connected on a particular try, which is pretty exciting. We'll talk to Calvin Whiting and Michael Baska live from Dublin, Ireland. How about that? Scores from around Major League Rugby, standings. Oh, man, it's coming down to the wire in these last 2 weeks. We'll tell you what needs to happen for the Warriors to make the playoffs. 1 seed up for grabs, 2 seed up for grabs, 3 seed out of the playoffs still up for grabs. So hopefully things go well. I think they will. We'll preview the mega matchup with Rugby ATL, the top team in the East, coming into town Saturday, the on-watch celebration of rugby and Rugby 101. If we have time, unlike last week, we'll get to kicking. Okay, let's talk about the recap here. USA England. This happened on July 4th. The setup was super cool here at Twickenham, the home of the English national team. First match for the Eagles since 2019. It's a bye week for the Warriors, so only 1 game missed for our guys. But 5 dudes represented, 4 in the starting lineup. Calvin Whiting gets the late call, flies over to London and plays in this game. And these guys made us proud. Mika Kruse, Michael Baska, Mike Iteo, Paul Mullen, and Calvin Whiting. 4 starters. 4 of these guys started. Michael Baska comes off the bench. It's a 43-29 English win, Banksy. But the U.S. outscored England in the second half and showed much better. I was very proud of the way our guys played and the United States played.
I think the entire team should be proud of the way they played in the performance at Twickenham against England with essentially a week's worth of prep time and then the travel all the way over to the UK for the match. I mean, with such a short camp and a short preparation time, you knew it was going to take them a long time to clear the dust off. And it took them about 40 minutes worth of rugby to do it. Once we got into that second half, guys started to settle in. They started to play the game as it came to them. And we saw all of our Utah Warriors make an impact, which was great to see from the boys.
The set piece was really good. That's typically where you're going to struggle a little more against a squad like England, who, by the way, was the World Cup runner-up in 2019 in Japan, ranked number 3 in the world right now. It was 31-8, and then U.S. turned it on, 26 points in the second half. It was super cool to see our guys wearing the red, white, and blue, obviously, but to have 4 of those guys start, and Calvin Whiting's like just he's in for an injured player. He gets thrown in the starting lineup. Baska comes off the bench. They connect in the second half, and things get going there. It was pretty cool to see. What was your favorite part of this whole experience? Not only the game, but I guess with the guys being involved. 5 from the Warriors. That's the most of any team in MLR.
I mean, I think it was great, obviously, to see people that we know, right? These are guys we consider friends. These are guys that are part of Dub Nation and part of this family that is Utah Warriors rugby. So to see people you care about and to see people that you know have put so much work into a game like this, it's pretty incredible. I'm not surprised at the early struggles of the scrum against England. Obviously, that's going to be a big strong point for a top-tier nation like that. But as things continue to settle out, 2 of the USA tries came off of the maul, which to see Big Paulie Mullins right in the middle of all of that, inflicting that kind of physicality that we're used to seeing from him and being a big part of what that forward pack was doing was fantastic, and to score points off of it. But there's got to be 2 highlights. One is Mikey Teo showing the people a bit more than probably what they thought he's buying a ticket. We'll get to that in a little bit. And then the big team try with the move through the back line. 4 out of the 5 Warriors on the field get a touch of the ball in that, and it was just a great move, and it was a chance to showcase some of that chemistry that we've been seeing all year. But to put it on display for the international fans has been great.
That try that you mentioned was pretty spectacular. The fact that Mika Kruse gets going, Mikey Teo's involved, those 2 starting wingers. Calvin Whiting gets the ball. Michael Baska is the scrum half at this point in the final 20 minutes. And Michael Baska makes a couple of incredible passes. He also scoops up a ball that was loose and then quickly recycles it. And there was a try. And here it is. This is fantastic stuff.
Baska, the replacement, getting it away. Then Teo, this is a nice bit of width.
Kruse and Teo on the outside. Like, we've seen this all year, right? Ball goes forward. Baska still grabs it. And then inside ball for the try. I mean, that was beauty.
With Mikey inserting himself into that almost second playmaker role like he's done with the Warriors from the 15 position, comes all the way across the other side of the field, finds his teammate and friend Mika. Mika's into the gap, and immediately you see Baska pointing, and he knew the angle and where the contact was. And Mike is so good at trailing. Here's the ball for Baska out. Mikey gets it out, trailing the ball. Mika's out. And then that knock on from England, and then just Baska running the good line, catching the ball forward, and then knowing where his teammate was for the offload. I mean, if that's a natural bit of chemistry and just good open rugby, I think that's kind of the continuing development of the quality of rugby we're seeing and the impact of Major League Rugby on this Eagles squad. We're talking about professionalism. We're talking about a heightened level of competition, a greater and broader skill set from all of these guys is what was on display in this match. And I think there's a lot of great things, even though I don't think anybody realistically expected the Eagles to beat England at Twickenham. But I think this was as good a contest as we probably could have hoped for on short notice with all of the other things that have gone on over the past year and a half. It was really a great game of rugby and a great moment for the USA.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And super proud of the guys to talk about the journeys of these guys to get to this point. And we'll talk with 2 of those who have made an incredible journey, Michael Baska and Calvin Whiting, coming up from Dublin in just a couple of moments. Okay, so the U.S. Drops the match to England, but a great showing. USA plays Ireland, who's ranked 4th in the world, by the way, Saturday in Dublin, 12:15 Mountain Time on Flow Rugby. There are other ways of getting around that if you're interested. VPNs and whatnot, right? Okay, Wales beat Canada 68-12 in Cardiff. Fraser Hurst wasn't on the 23. We're hoping he is for Canada at Twickenham against England this Saturday morning, so we'll see about that. Okay, pre-order the alternate jersey, the Osepa jersey the Warriors are wearing on July 10th versus Rugby ATL. I know you're a huge fan, Banksy. So am I. These look very slick.
We already have some of the best looking kit in Major League Rugby. Our second kit is second to none in the red and black. The home black and reds are fantastic, and this just adds to the standard of what we've come to expect is the best looking team, not just with the ruggedly handsome players that we have on our squad, but with the way that we kit them out as well.
Okay, let's bring in Calvin Whiting and Michael Baska for a conversation from Dublin, Ireland. And we'll let Calvin Whiting go in about 9 minutes, and then we'll keep Michael Baska for a couple more minutes because Calvin's got some treating. But, fellas, welcome to Dub Nation from Dublin. I never thought we'd be saying this, but here we are.
How's it going, fellas?
What's up, guys? Good to see you.
It's great to see you, and things are going better for you guys than for us. I can tell you that. And first off, the swag looks nice. You got some good looking hoodies and hats and stuff, right?
Not bad, not bad. Christmas came early this year.
What was it like on July 4th to represent the USA on that day, Independence Day, at Twickenham against England? I mean, that's got to be a special experience, right, Michael?
Yeah, for me, it was an awesome experience. Obviously, there's a lot of sentimental reasons on why July 4th is and the holiday in itself, but to be able to play England and represent your country, I mean, on that day of all days was very special. I'll remember that for the rest of my life. It was awesome.
How was it for you, Calvin?
Calvin, talk about the build-up for you, because you went from being a late call-up to joining the boys late to in the starting lineup to running the full 80 against England. And how was that adjustment in the build-up to the game?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously, like you said, came in late. Yeah, tried to fill in as much as I could. Obviously, didn't know where I stood until obviously they told us the team selection, and was happy with my role to come off the bench and be a finisher and do my part in that aspect. But once I had the call up, the day before the game of like, hey, actually, listen, you're going to be starting. I was like, well, okay. Like, so mindset obviously changed a little bit, and knowing that I might have to go full 80, that's also a little bit different. I was telling Baska and the boys, it's like that kind of game was crazy. I felt like I was running at 100 miles an hour, but yet still, 10 meters behind everything that was going on. It was just so fast. It was incredible.
Michael, tell us about what it meant to you to be able to get your first cap for the Eagles in a situation where you played a ton of rugby, you've paid your dues, you've been a backup scrum half in this league for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden you find yourself playing 20 minutes and really helping a tremendous second half for the Eagles there.
Oh, man, what an experience. I think since I started playing rugby in 2011, I went to my head coach's house, Tim Klumpers, and he's an ex-Eagle, and I saw all of his USA jerseys on the wall, and it was kind of the dream from right then and there. And 10 years later, 11 years later, here we are. It's a lot of time and effort, and a lot of people have made a lot of sacrifices for me to be in this position. So, I mean, man, just to be able to represent my country and, do or hopefully make everyone proud who made those sacrifices for me to be there. It was awesome.
So, Calvin, talk about having your boys there. I mean, obviously, a lot of the guys in the squad as well, but to be able to show up and have those warriors there with you to make that adjustment. And then, if you can, talk about the try, that team try that was really scored in a bit of open play, and how it was seeing your buddies inside and outside of you running around with the ball.
Yeah, that try looked awfully familiar, doesn't it? But no, 100%. It's been really fun having the boys. Yeah, it's obviously you have some friends already coming into the group, but obviously you expand and you make more friends and you all become another band of brothers. But obviously just at trainings and stuff, you already have that chemistry with these guys, and so it makes it a lot easier. So you move the ball, and although we are having side chats with each other, there's still those main calls that we get right, and we understand and we know exactly what each other's going to do and where we see success. And so I think that try pretty much summarizes it all. I mean, Baska runs an incredible support line. Without that line, there is no try. And so it's but that's the stuff that we do on a daily. And I think that's where the chemistry comes in, and it's awesome just to see that connection.
We're talking with Michael Baska and Calvin Whiting, two Utah Warriors who are on the Eagles from Dublin, Ireland. Okay, it's not like you get a rest and relax at this point. You're getting ready for the number 4 ranked team in the world, Ireland, right?
Yeah.
What's it going to be like to play Ireland in Dublin coming up on Saturday? And we'll focus on Calvin for a couple minutes before you have to go, and then we'll finish up with Michael.
Sure. It's been a pretty interesting week. The coaches obviously are very aware of how the players' bodies are feeling. I mean, we do daily reports, pretty much similar to the Warriors setup. And so obviously they noticed that obviously England very physical game, and so they actually kind of not cut down, but just kind of shortened some of the things this week for us training wise. But everything's done with full intent. You know, you go in there to get the most out of it. You know, we had a really good gym session today with a really good training. We have another training tomorrow just to kind of help us prepare, and then it's onto the big stage. It's pretty crazy walking out onto that stadium where thousands of guys have come before you and have had such incredible games, and just the momentous occasion it is. It's just incredible to actually be a part of that yourself. And so I think that's what kind of gets me the most giddy, is especially walking onto Twickenham that day. I was just like, this is incredible. Like, this is the home of rugby. Like, it is insane that I'm literally playing rugby on this field, let alone a full 80.
That's incredible. We're talking with Calvin Whiting and Michael Baska from Dublin. Calvin, growing up in South Africa, you probably don't envision, 1, I'm going to play for the United States, and 2, I'm going to rep them, right, playing England and Ireland. I mean, was there a moment you had where it sort of set in, or was it before the game, during the game, maybe after the game, where you were like, oh my gosh, this is happening? Because you've repped the Eagles before, but you played so well this year, you got called back, which is a massive honor.
Yeah, it's honestly, coming back to your point, I feel like I'm still pinching myself that I'm in this position, right? It's still such an honor to be able to be here with not only my teammates, but new guys, and to be able to represent America and rugby in itself. It's just such a huge honor for me, and just honestly just so grateful to be here and be a part of this whole process, and help this game grow in the right direction, especially within America where I've had so many opportunities. So it only feels right to give back wherever I can.
Who's the best hang on the road, by the way, on the team? Oh, sorry, Banksy, go ahead.
There's a great moment after the match. I think it was an incredible sign of respect when England actually lined you guys up and gave you that guard of honor off the field. That's got to be a special moment to know that you earned those guys' respect in that match on that day. What was that like as those guys gave you the send-off at Twickenham?
Yeah, it's I mean, I can say a little bit, Baska can go after me, yeah, but I thought it was really cool. I mean, you just spent 80 minutes, just freaking absolutely hammering each other. And now to go into a place where you now have that mutual respect, and you talk with one another after the game, clap each other off, give each other that confidence. Honestly, really humbling moment just to have that, be a part of the experience. So it was really cool. You have anything to add?
It's pretty cool. I went straight through that line, straight to post-match fitness for the for the under 20 minutes there. So yeah,
you're like, what happened? What did you guys do?
Yeah, I was through there quick, through that line quick, straight to the fitness. So had to crush that out real quick.
Jeff Scroger on YouTube says, not a question, but just want to say how amazing it is to see these guys on the international stage and how impressed we are by them. Really grateful to be a Warriors fan at this moment. A lot of Warriors fans said this, guys. They were really proud to see you guys do what you did and be on this trip. Pretty awesome.
No, we appreciate you guys, and we're extremely honored to not only represent our country, but also represent the Utah Warriors, and we're extremely grateful to have everyone's support, and everyone showing their love back at Warriors Nation. So thank you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it. We feel the support. We see all the messages, so promise it doesn't go unnoticed.
Okay, I have a couple more questions for Michael, but Calvin, you have treatment right now, so we're going to let you go. We don't want to take off Gary Gold or anybody on the staff. So Calvin, thanks, man. Michael, hang tight for a sec.
See you guys.
Okay, Michael, the only bad thing about being on this trip is you don't get to wear the USEPA jersey, right? This Saturday? I mean,
yeah,
that's the only bad thing. It's going to be a pretty cool experience for the guys that do get to wear that alternate jersey and a big game against Rugby ATL Saturday.
Yeah, it is a big game, and those jerseys are definitely sleek, to say the least. I like them; they look nice. But yeah, definitely a big game. But from what we know, what we've seen the boys are ready for. Anything that any team throws against us, and especially with the situation we're in with the playoffs coming up, and we I know the boys will be up for it, and we'll be watching from over here and rooting them on and supporting any way we can throughout the week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what time is it gonna be? Your plus, 7 hours, I think, Mountain Time. So if it's at 8, yeah, that's gonna be 5 in the morning or something. Yeah, if you want to sleep in and catch it after, you can, right?
No. We'll all be live. We'll all be ready to rock and roll and watch it. We're ready to support.
That's awesome, and it's a huge game. You guys are gone, and this game matters a ton. Obviously, fighting for playoff position. If LA loses the next 2 games, which let's be honest, they've shown some vulnerability. It's possible. They only need 1 point to clinch a playoff spot, but the 1 seed's up for grab, the 2 seed's up for grab, and being out of the playoffs is still a possibility. So, what's your message for the guys back home in terms of, hey boys, let's get it done so we can face off with LA next week for probably massive stakes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't think there really needs to be any message. I'm sure Sean and Sean are kind of driving it home, and all the boys know exactly what we need to do. But at the end of the day, it's just control what we can control. We can go out there and get a victory, and we can put ourselves in a good position going in to the last week when we get a win this weekend. So, yeah, don't really worry about what anyone else is doing. Just worry about the job that's in front of you, and take it each play at a time, each roll at a time. And yeah, I know that I have full confidence in the guys back home that we can get it done and ready to come back home and celebrate.
Well, it's been a fantastic showing from you guys so far. What has stuck out about the trip off the pitch so far in England and Ireland?
The ping pong battles, we've had some pretty intense.
Is that what's going on in the background?
Yeah, I can hear 2 people going at it, but yeah, some good ping pong. But I think just overall, just for me, I'm just trying to soak it all in and really pick people's brains and try and understand how they see the game and how they play the game. But off the field, it's just nice. Everyone's been very welcoming, and everyone's from different backgrounds, different cultures. So it's great to see the diversity and learn about different people's backgrounds and how they live and how they operate on the day to day. So yeah, it's just been a great experience overall.
Talking to Michael Baska from Dublin, Ireland, getting ready for USA and Ireland coming up Saturday. What was it like to get your first cap, not only on the field but kind of the ceremony of getting that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it was pretty much a dream come true. It's been 10 years, 11 years that really been grafting to, have this opportunity to play for the Eagles. And I think this week overall, I've really taken the initiative to kind of soak it all in and really appreciate it. So, I mean, MLR weeks, they come and go, but, looking back, I would really wish I would have appreciated and really soaked it all in. And that's what I'm trying to do here, because it goes by quickly. And then when I get back to the MLR, really try and implement that and then just appreciate the time being able to play rugby. So yeah, very special. Everyone's very kind, and again, like Calvin said, we really appreciate all the messages that we've been receiving from friends, family, and Warriors nations. Like you said, they don't go unnoticed, and it means a lot.
Well, hopefully we see Fraser Hurst for Canada make the 23 this weekend too, right? That'd be fun.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, Praise.
Yeah, let's go. Okay. Well, Michael, enjoy the trip, man. Sounds like you're playing some good ping pong and, of course, having a life-changing experience repping the Eagles for the first time. Congratulations, man. I know you've come a long ways to get to this point.
Thank you, guys. And again, we appreciate everyone with Warriors Nation. We look forward to watching the boys play this weekend and getting back to Utah soon. So, again, thank you to everyone, and I hope you guys are doing well back in the States.
Okay, we are doing well. After watching that second half, it was fun, man. Okay, thanks, Michael. We appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good one.
Yeah, that's Michael Baska from Dublin, Ireland. How about that? Listen, when we started the show, I didn't think we were going to interview anyone from Dublin, but here we are. 2 of our guys, Michael Baska, Calvin Whiting from Dublin. Let's get a couple of comments in here from you guys that you've sent in. Facebook, Julie Winder, so proud of the boys. Absolutely. So proud of these guys. 1, to make the squad. 2, to show out like they did. And it's one thing to have, we knew Mikey Teo and Paul Mullen were probably going to be in there. To have Mika Kruse and Michael Baska and Calvin Whiting get in there, just icing on the cake. It was amazing. Okay, Patricia Matagaono. I'm excited for Sunday's game. Absolutely. So excited. So excited. Getting ready for USA and Ireland. It's going to be awesome. So it's going to be a great weekend. And it's on the 10th, so it's actually Saturday night or Saturday afternoon for us here, if I have that correct. So it's Saturday afternoon, 12:15 Mountain Time, USA Ireland. Flow Rugby. Again, there are ways of getting around that. And then you got the game, of course, Rugby ATL and the Utah Warriors, which we will preview coming up. Buy your tickets on warriorsrugby.com. Okay, let's see. Julie Winter, Baska needs to start the next game. Hey, we'll see. He had a pretty good final 20 there. Jay Larson. Not only did the boys play there, they put on a show. They really did in the second half. I was very impressed by the composure of the group to sort of answer the bell after being down. I think it was 26-3. So pretty awesome. Jay Larson. We take credit for the comeback spirit. Am I right? Absolutely. The Utah Warriors take credit for that. The way the Warriors have played, 3 of the last 4 weeks, coming back at the very end. That's pretty awesome. So, yeah. Okay. Let's continue the program with Week 16 MLR scores. We just have 2 weeks left in the regular season, by the way. Buckle up. Let's go. San Diego tops Seattle 34-21, and whenever Banksy is back, let's party. 5 tries in the first half for San Diego. That'll get it done. 5 tries in the first half. Seattle had 2 yellows this season, by the way, then 3 on Saturday. So it got a little crazy. Brian Mattias, now the Legion's all-time try scorer with 11. That is the husband of former BYU All-American and USA World Cup vet and on the Olympic roster, Jordan Mattias, formerly Jordan Gray of BYU. So congratulations to the Mattiases. New England upsets New York 22-6. Crazy rain in this one. They delayed it an hour due to lightning. Bailey Wilson's brother Mitch scored a try in this one. Dan Hollinshead returned for Rooney. And Rooney's upset. Now it means, and we'll show you in the standings in a minute, that NOLA is right there for a playoff spot. Toronto takes down DC 34-28. Toronto snaps a 5-game losing streak in getting the win over DC. The Arrows jump Old Glory in the standings with the win. Taylor Adams, second MLR player to surpass 100 points. And NOLA, with the upset of the year, they take down LA on the road 21-20. LA comes out of there with 1 bonus point for losing by 7 or fewer. But NOLA was down 9 starters due to international duty and injuries and still won this game. Trailed 14-0. Kane Thompson got injured, multiple yellow cards. But ultimately, in the 78th minute, Hanno Dirksen scores the game winner with 14 men on the field. I mean, it may have surpassed Game of the Year for Utah San Diego. I mean, it was incredible. As we bring Banksy back into this one, I'm talking about NOLA in LA, the upset over the Giltinis. That's a good thing for the Warriors here. That was a massive win for NOLA.
I think it was a great moment for the Utah Warriors and a great moment for Major League Rugby because that air of invincibility that LA's been hanging on to for the first 3 quarters of the season, it's gone. But how about the Eastern Conference? All 3 games that LA has dropped have been Eastern Conference teams. So LA good against the West, but a lot of competition now rising out of the East. And this just as big for New Orleans as it is for any other team in the league, for them to be able to hold on to not just get the win, but to keep their playoff hopes alive.
It is massive, and we'll get to that in the standings in just a moment. We've been telling you about Junior Warriors and Banksy. There's an opportunity coming up Saturday to participate.
This is a great shot to get your kids involved with the Junior Warriors program with clinics involving coaches, players, and all of the Utah Warriors staff. It's just $25, 2 hours before every home game. Go to warriorsrugby.com and sign your kid up to be a Junior Warrior.
Okay, standings. Oh my gosh, 2 weeks left, and it is down to the wire. Let's go. Western Conference looks like this. Finally, we have an even amount of games played between LA and Utah. And we can take a look at the East to start. Let's do it. Okay, Rugby ATL comes in on Saturday. Top team in the East with 51 points. That is the same amount of points as Utah Warriors. Rugby ATL needs a win to ensure a playoff spot. If Rugby ATL wins, to me that means with 1 week left, they've got to they're in, right? They win and in to the playoffs, and then seeding is TBD. But NOLA's now tied with Rooney. NOLA might make the playoffs now. Man, that's coming down to the wire as well in the East. That's a crazy one.
So I think the competition in the East has continued to be tough. And I mean, take nothing away from like Toronto and Old Glory. They've been tough all year for teams to beat. I think the Rooney loss was a big shock and a shakeup at the top of that table. I think everyone expected Rugby ATL and Rooney to be there and might still be. But really, with as many points as there are up for grabs here, you're talking about 1 bonus point win away from any of those teams taking the 1 seed in the East.
Yes, it's coming down to the wire there, and Rugby ATL, best team in the East, and on par with the Warriors in terms of points. Let's go. 10-4, a 1-game win-loss difference, but so many close losses and 4+ try games for Utah. 15 bonus points. Okay, standings in the West. Oh my gosh, let's go. LA is 11-3 and has 56 points. If LA gets 1 point in the next 2 weeks, they're into the playoffs. 1 point, that's it. Okay, they play Austin, and then they play Utah. So it's 1v2 and 3 for LA. That is very difficult. The only team that has a tougher schedule in the last 2 weeks is Utah, playing the number 1 team in the East and the number 1 team in the West. Now, Utah can be the 1 seed still if LA loses both games, right? And Utah is able to defeat Rugby ATL and get at least a point, right, against LA. If LA doesn't, well, they would need to beat LA, actually. Okay, so last 2 weeks, it's coming down to the wire. Being out of the playoffs is a possibility, being the 2 seed is a possibility, and being the 1 is a possibility. It's all up for grabs, and they're 2 massive games against the 2 best teams in the league right now.
If you are a league official, you could not have drawn up the late season drama any better than what we've got right now. I mean, look at this. LA Giltinis with 2 more wins than the Warriors and only up 4 points on the table. I mean, it doesn't get any tighter than this in the West or the East. I mean, so San Diego mathematically eliminated at this point, but all of these teams face each other throughout the rest of the season, and no one has – it could literally go any way. You could be the 1 seed right now and 2 weeks' time be on the outside looking in at playoffs, realistically, if you're LA or if you're Utah or Austin. This could go in so many different directions, and then the East is not any more or less certain. It's the same drama and tension at the top of the table here. So don't take anything away from any of these teams and the quality of rugby they played. I think this is just the exceptionalism of Major League Rugby coming to a head here, and all of these teams starting to figure it out and get healthy and play their best rugby.
A reminder, the top 2 teams in each conference make the playoffs. The top seed hosts the lower seed. So right now, Rugby ATL would be the 1 seed, but taking on, depending on the tiebreakers, NOLA and Rooney, and then of course it'd be LA, Utah. But there's 2 weeks left. Okay, so what do we know? Here's what we know. 1, LA needs 1 point to clinch a playoff spot. Okay, it'll come down to Utah, Austin for the other. 2, LA will win tiebreakers versus Austin and Utah. So you don't want to end up in a tie with LA. Okay, and then 3, Utah could still be the 1, 2, and when I say 3 seed, that means out of the playoffs. So there's a lot at stake. Tiebreakers matter. Let's take a look at that. Wins and losses. Wins is number 1. Point differential is 2. So wins, LA is +2 on Utah and Austin. They will get both in wins. They will also get both in point differential. So that's why I say LA just needs 1 point to make the playoffs. Okay. Then it's try differential, head-to-head record, coin toss. I do wish head-to-head record was higher, because if Utah and Austin tie, to me, because Utah won both, that should matter. But it's 5th on this. I think it should be higher next year.
I definitely think there needs to be more credit given to that, especially considering the home and away difficulties the teams have had this year. And for Utah to go into Austin and win, and then, of course, the big statement win at the start of this playoff push and this win streak, that matters more to me than points differentials or tries scored or plus and minus in your defense. So, and then, I mean, to go after the head-to-head record and then just say, we'll just flip a coin for it, seems kind of disingenuous to the quality of a team going on the road and beating their opposition head-to-head. So that does feel to me like we need more impetus on that as a stat over all of the other things that they weigh into it. I mean, your head-to-head record should be first before points differential. I say that obviously because we have the advantage over them. They're probably going, yeah, points differential matters most because they have a greater points differential right now on it throughout the schedule. So that part of it plays in Austin's favor.
Yeah, typical. I mean, in other sports, head-to-head is a tiebreaker. It's like the first one typically, or second. So yeah, we'll see. And then this affirms this whole situation of the parity of the league this year. There needs to be 2v3 in the playoffs with one seed getting a bye next year. We just have to do that.
I think there's going to be a lot that Major League Rugby is going to take away from this season. I think league officials and all of the teams, admins, staff, all the travel coordinators, this season has been such a great learning experience, not just for how to execute under difficult circumstances, but for where we need to go next. I know we need to have TMO replays in Major League Rugby. I think the expansion of the teams next year will lead itself to adding that 2v3 playoff spot and only having the number one seeds get the bye week and reward them for their exceptionalism and getting the one seed and getting a week off to rest, recover, and plan for whoever they're facing for the next week. So I think all of those things will happen. And I think getting to this point with this season has been nothing but miraculous from all of these teams, staffs, and players who have put this all together. To go from playing in the middle of a pandemic to a full-blown 14-day race for the end in a all points matter free-for-all of mass hysteria to get these teams into the 1 and 2 seeds. We have no idea. We're 10 days basically from the end of the season, and we have no idea what the seeding is going to be.
Warriors could be the number one seed. They could be out of the playoffs. I mean, we'll see. In a big game coming up with Rugby ATL, which we will preview in a moment. Go ahead and go to warriorsrugby.com. You can participate in an auction for the Josepa jerseys. We highly recommend this.
These Josepa jerseys are unbelievable as a tribute to the early pioneer settlers that came here, and not just acknowledging the European and American settlers that settled out west here in Utah, but those early Polynesian settlers who came and landed and settled together in an encampment called Josepa. And it was out in the West Desert near the Salt Flats, and that's why these jerseys are the color that they are in that blue and white strip. It's a tribute to the Salt Flats and to the people of Josepa and that heritage that we share here in Utah. You can auction. We're going to auction off the game-worn jerseys here to benefit some of our partners, and you can get in on those. So pre-order your jerseys if you want to guarantee you get it, or make sure that you stand by for that auction.
Okay, games this week in MLR, week 17. Houston at Rooney. That's a big one for Rooney. San Diego at Old Glory, DC. Not playing in the playoff picture per se. The Gilchrist Bowl, Austin at LA. We'll see if LA Giltinis throw it so Austin can get into the playoffs potentially. Rugby ATL at Utah. We'll preview that. That's a massive one for the playoffs. New England at Toronto and NOLA at Seattle. It's going to be a compelling and rich final or penultimate week of the season.
I mean, circle the two games in the middle of that schedule right now with the Adam Gilchrist Bowl. I wonder if they'll get a Gil trophy to drink out of at the end of that to see which team comes away with the title. These challenge trophies have been really hot this year. And then, of course, Rugby ATL at the Warriors, the two games that matter most in the West. And then in the East, NOLA Gold getting a chance to go into Seattle and play a tough Seattle Seawolves team playing for their playoff lives right now. That game matters a lot in the Eastern Conference.
Okay, renew your season tickets on warriorsrugby.com. If you love, amazing, high-scoring, tense, dramatic rugby with multiple Eagles, you're going to love it. So go to warriorsrugby.com and get your season tickets for next year. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, this Saturday, as mentioned, Rugby ATL coming to town, a return trip from the exhibition they played in Harriman way back in March, which Rugby ATL won in the final 10 minutes. This is a massive game. Go to warriorsrugby.com, get your tickets for this one. We've got the call on TV and radio for this one. I'm very excited about it. It's the on-watch celebration of rugby. There's several games leading up to it. You can check out the schedule via the Utah Warriors social media. But this could not be a bigger game. Both have 51 points, number one in the East, number two in the West. Series history, they've just played one game prior. It was the 2020 season opener back on February 8th of last year. Utah lost 28-19. They did play the exhibition, as mentioned, a 15-13 Rugby ATL win back in March on the 6th. You had the call on that one, Banksy, with Ashley. These are two very different teams since then, and the stakes are way higher.
I think with Rugby ATL, we know what we're getting, right? We're going to get a fast, physical team that likes to play in space and at pace. That's who they've always been. And when these two teams met in preseason exhibition, that's the rugby that we saw. They want to play sideline to sideline. They want to stretch you out. Rugby ATL had the advantage of never having to leave their bubble during COVID. Their strength and conditioning was top notch, and I think the whole league was playing catch up to them. And we saw it from these Warriors in that exhibition match with them able to snatch the win right at the end. This is not that Warriors team, though. This is a team now that has cohesion. They have chemistry. They've been tested. They've been tried together. They've failed together, and they've risen above those trials to play some of the most entertaining rugby that Major League Rugby has seen all season. So July 10th, be ready for what I think will be an incredibly fast and a very physical match between these two teams. And look for this one to take the full 80 minutes to get a decision.
It's going to be a tough one for both squads, right? Ryan Reese is gone with the Eagles from Rugby ATL. That's the starting scrum half. Connor Keys is with Canada. He's a starter for them. Obviously, 6 Warriors gone, 5 Eagles, 1 Canadian or Utah. So a lot of guys missing. How do you feel about Utah's chances, given how good the Gorilla Squad has been this year off the bench, against a Rugby ATL group that has fewer missing internationals?
I think that's tough. The only consolation to that is everybody's dealing with this international window, right? Like, this isn't just the Warriors that are in this situation. So we're not unique, although we do outweigh them in players missing. The good news is we've got guys like Thomas Tuivau, who is playing incredible rugby right now. We've got guys that we haven't even seen on the pitch yet, like Logan Tango, who could make his debut in a match like this on the wing with both Mika and Mikey gone. There's lots of different pieces around the pitch. Danny Christensen now playing really great rugby. We've seen him in the last couple of matches really start to play up to a level we haven't seen him play at before. And with Baska and Frazier gone, it's going to be on Danny's shoulders to marshal this team around the field. And he's done great in the moments that he's had so far. So the missing our 6 is going to be big for the Warriors, but make no mistake about it, the guys that are playing behind them, and I say behind them with a very loose term, it's really the next man up. And the quality and the depth of this side, I think, is really going to show through in this game.
If Vegas put odds on this, Rugby ATL would be favored given the missing guys. But the way that this bench has played this year, I'm still stoked about this matchup, like you said, because I think there are guys who've been waiting for an opportunity like this. They've known for like a month that this was coming, that this specific game was going to be, hey, we got to hold down the fort while these guys are gone. And so it's going to be interesting. The strength of Rugby ATL is going to be really fun. It's the 6, 7, and 8. They're really talented. Connor Cook and Jason Dom and Johan Momsen, these guys steal lineouts. They're dominant tacklers. They score tries. It's going to be interesting. Of course, Jeremy Misaila-Nalu is back, the missile who used to play for the Warriors. Bautista Escura is playing really, really high. He played kind of a Calvin Whiting type where he was playing inside center, and then they moved him to fly half in their last game against DC really successfully. They've got some playmakers. I mean, this is going to be a battle royale.
They've got some playmakers, but keep in mind, almost our entire forward pack is intact. With the exception of Paul Mullen going.
True.
I mean, and Paul Mullen, to his credit and to the way he played against England, and he was great, he's not the form tight head prop on this team. It's been Gus McClellan all year. So I think Paul getting his minutes in the lead up to being on tour has been great, but we have a number 1 tight head prop, and his name is Angus McClellan, and he's going to play great rugby. In the middle of that, flip a coin whether it's Sama Malolo or Tuvere Vungakoto. On the left side, is it Franco Vandenberg or Ali Khalifi? You do not lose with any of those combinations going up next to Gus. Or Alex Tucci. I mean, let's talk about Tucci time getting some minutes here. He's constantly competing for a spot. Second row, Jensen Fortine. That pairing is intact. Our back row, we've still got Lance Williams. We've still got Cap. We've still got JVV at number 8. So the power, strength, and chemistry of this forward pack, which is what this team is built on, is almost completely intact for this game, and I think that is going to be a difference maker.
Let's freaking go. Yeah, after you said that, I'm ready to go.
Can you tell I'm pumped about it? I'm excited to see these guys go out and play rugby.
Clevin Lobster, Hagen Schulte will be asked to carry a lot of the load in terms of the playmaking on the back end. So that'll be interesting. Okay, it's Rugby ATL. It's Utah Warriors. It's 8 Mountain, an hour later than normal, coming up Saturday night. KSL TV app and the Rugby Network and ESPN 700, ESPN 960. We've got you covered. We're on the call. I could not be more excited for this one. Okay, Rugby 101 as we wrap up things here. Kicking. There's all kinds of kicking in the game, Banksy. Tell us about where you see kicking in the game.
The first thing you'll notice about kicking is on the restarts, obviously, with the drop kicks to start the game from midfield. The ball must travel 10 meters. We've gone over the drop kicks to score almost like a field goal. We've talked about the penalty goals. When a penalty is committed, you can opt to kick for points, for 3 points from the spot where the penalty was made. What's really different in the kicking game in rugby is the kicking during open play, and we see the Warriors do this really well with Hagen Schulte. Clevin Lobster has been fantastic as he's come on. Is that kick at any point in the match that you want for field position and forcing your opponent to play with their backs to the goal line, and there are little differences in where that ball can land, who gets possession of that ball. The biggest thing that you will notice from again, I don't want to say uneducated rugby fan, but from a novice rugby fan's point, are the kicks on a penalty. When a penalty is awarded, you can opt to kick for the touchline, for the sideline, and then you get a line out from where that ball is kicked. So on a personal infraction, like not rolling away at a breakdown, or if a person is holding on to the ball in a ruck and that penalty is awarded, we're given that free kick to be able to not only gain the meters where the kick went out of bounds, but also to maintain possession there. And I think that's the biggest thing with the strategic kicking is, and that's one of the advantages that we have with the Utah Warriors, is our ability to kick ourselves into a good field position.
It's the only time where kicking yourself is good.
Did any of that make sense?
It did. It absolutely did.
I am a prop. I have kicked exactly 3 balls in my entire rugby career, and only one of them went well.
Indeed. Okay, a reminder, we're handing out a Warriors visor to one of you lucky fans who shares the show on Facebook, retweets the post of the game on Twitter. That'll do it for us. Saturday night, 8 Mountain Time, KSL TV app, and the Rugby Network, and Utah Warriors and Rugby ATL, ESPN 960, ESPN 700. We've got the call. We're stoked about it. It's going to be a massive one with playoff implications. Okay, like and share this episode of Dub Nation. Follow the Utah Warriors on social media throughout the season on KSL Sports and ESPN 700. For Calvin Whiting and Michael Baska from Dublin, Billy the producer, and Banksy, I'm Jarom Jordan from Oregon, back in town in a couple days. Go Warriors.